And after having soaked for about 2 hours, I can go ahead and take everything out, inspect it. I'm going to flip all of my joints so that I can get full coverage. I'll go ahead and show you some of these things. Here's the torso. It's made of ABS plastic. You can see it didn't bond to it at all. Whatever this material is inside of here is something different, obviously. It takes the dye very well, but I've also tried sanding, thinking maybe they put some kind of a seal on top of it, something to prevent the dye from bonding to it. So I've tried sanding this down in areas and then dyeing it, and I had no luck. It didn't make any difference to it. So unfortunately, at this time, I don't have anything that will dye ABS plastic. Same thing with the groin, still brown, and that's purple paint, so that wasn't going to take it anyway. But and then you can see this is here. This is just a different type of material inside of there. But anyway, the PVC plastic, however, takes it beautifully. That is 2 hours with the heat setting just below a quarter of the way up. And as good as that looks, I'm going to actually dye it for another 2 hours, because if I let this dry and I held it up in the light, I would still be able to see that it doesn't have 100% coverage. So I'm actually going to dye it for a little bit longer. Then the sword. So this is not ABS plastic. If it was ABS, it wouldn't be bendable, but it's also not PVC. Otherwise, it would have taken the dye. It actually changed it just very slightly, but for our purposes, it didn't take. I need it to be black. Now, regarding the joints that I was talking about, every single piece that has a moving piece, now I'm going to take it out and I'm going to flip it all the way to the other side, because you'll see left some exposed. After about an hour, that'll be covered, but I'm going to do a full 2 hours just to be good and thorough. So anyway, I'm going to flip all the joints, clean these off, and put them back in, and we'll be back. One other thing I want to point out about this process is if you have pieces that are glued together, as tends to be the case with many heads on the Masters of the Universe, the glue that holds them together will melt and kind of move down the plastic a little bit, and that's going to prevent the dye from bonding. Something that you really just can't get around. When I get ready to finish this figure, I'll just put a little bit of paint there and you'll never know it's there. But that's just one thing I wanted to point out. Another thing that's extremely important in this process, I've seen a few people online complaining that they dyed their figures and then the dye bled from the figure onto other things. This is just because they didn't take the time to clean it thoroughly. You've got to get a good soap like Dawn and wash these off really good. You're going to see the dye coming off, the excess dye coming off in the soap when you do this, and that way you're going to prevent that from happening. The other thing is, with pieces like the torso that has space inside to hold water, there's going to be some dye and water mixture still in there, so you've got to shake it. You got to shake it out really good. You shake it out until you don't see any dye coming out anymore, and this is going to prevent this bleeding effect. Alright, we are finally finished with the dyeing process. The black on this PVC just looks so good. Let's see if we can get a good focus there. It just works so well for this. Even the little miniatures dyed. Places where there weren't any paint, they took the dye really well. Of course, there was, like I said, there's going to be some pieces that it didn't even take. He-Man's sword. Fisto's sword didn't change color at all. That's just a solid purple plastic. I have no idea what that's made out of. The torso didn't take. The groin didn't take. This, you're going to see this with all of these Masters of the Universe figures. And his little chest piece, it took really well. It took the black really well, where there's no paint. So that's it. I have scrubbed them all off very thoroughly with soap. Make sure I got all the dye off of it. And at this point, it's ready to get put back together.